So I'm here with Mike Etling, again at County Corvette. I know it's been a long time since we did an update.
It has been.
So getting here has actually been a really long road, and we want to highlight some of the amazing things that we've done with the Simeone Museum and County Corvette, going all the way back to August of 2022. Let's take a look. As you can see, we got the engine running really nicely. New carburetor, new plugs, wires, some other things, new fuel pump, and it was time to bring her to Simeone Museum. They graciously offered to put a space for her, make a little exhibit about the AstroVette. So here we are loading it up on the trailer, bringing her over. It was a beautiful day, just in time to do a little bit of throttle therapy for the old AstroVette before she went on exhibit for a few months. So it was nice to finally drive the AstroVette a little bit, blow the cobwebs out a little bit before she went on display at the Simeone Foundation here in Philadelphia, who put together an incredible display on the AstroVette and Al Worden a little bit there. And then in April, we actually held a conference on the pros and cons of preservation versus restoration here with Kevin McKay and Leslie Kino, and decided on that day that the AstroVette, the paint and body of the AstroVette would stay original. We would not touch the outer original paint and stuff that's on there. But mechanically, we'd restore her stem to stern on the inside. And this is where County Corvette comes in.
Hey everybody, Mike here with County Corvette. We have Max. He's heading up the AstroVette project. And that's what our big announcement is. We're here at the Simeone Museum in Philadelphia picking up the Corvette that belonged to Al Worden originally.
Apollo 15.
So this is Max. He's going to be working with us as County Corvette does a mechanical restoration on his car, and we're going to try to do our best to preserve everything as original as absolutely possible.
It's got the original paint and everything.
It does,
so
it does.
Check it out. Anyway, I wanted to invite you to the project officially now that the car is going to County Corvette. So this is our mission patch.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with. Make sure that car runs real good.
Yeah, so our goal is to do a preservation restoration on this, which means we're not going to strip it, we're not going to paint it, we're not going to blow apart the interior. We're going to get it to run, drive, start, stop, steer, make sure all the lighting works, make sure the electrical's good, and this way it can be taken to different events safely and comfortably. Yeah. So I'm sure that's what your expectations are.
Yeah. I can't wait. You guys are well known in this field, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what we can do.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, and there'll be more to follow.
And just like that, she's on the trailer, on her way to County Corvette in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Coming off now here at County Corvette, just about to get assessed, then disassembled, and all the work done to make her mechanically sound, all the way down to the last nut and bolt, but leaving the paint and body in original shape. Cue the montage. So that's just the story, a little bit of how we got here, back at County Corvette, September 28th, 2023.
The car's really coming along. So we, as you know, we decided to do the frame and chassis and mechanical components and really kind of leave the paint and interior alone for the most part. But so basically what we have here is an almost finished frame and chassis and mechanical.
Yeah, it's at the 90% mark, max. We're waiting on to rivet the upper and lower ball joints into the control arms like they would have done from the factory. That's why you see them missing here and it's up on jack stands. But the engine was not rebuilt, but it was definitely gone through and inspected and cleaned and resealed.
And it had been rebuilt, I believe, probably about 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was.
So it's actually, it's in really nice shape. You can see the rocker arms and stuff like that are in really good shape, and it's all original, which is really incredible.
And then the Muncie 4-speed was rebuilt, the rear differential was rebuilt, the half shafts and the drive shaft are all rebuilt, trailing arms are done and day-coated, and everything.
We're gonna have a roller pretty soon here. I mean, this is
next couple weeks,
next couple weeks, and then we're gonna move on to a little bit of cosmetic, just cleanup. I think you were talking about
like a preservation.
Preservation, yeah. So CO2 blasting of the underside of the
which is done now.
Oh, that finished? Okay, that's finished. Cleaning up the inside, possibly replacing the carpet because the carpet is in really rough shape and it's actually deteriorating. It could cause other issues down the line, like you know, wiring or mice or whatever. Like things could. When you have an old carpet like that, it starts to it starts to fester.
It's a motel for mice at times.
Yeah, right.
So, which we don't want.
So that, some vacuum systems, getting some of the wiring redone, and I think the speedometer just needs to be rebuilt, and pretty much that's the interior of the car done. So you can get any of this stuff out of a catalog. I mean, it's available.
We don't want to do that.
But finding the real thing that's been restored, if we don't actually have it here, so for instance, like
the exhaust manifolds.
Exhaust manifolds, one of them was the wrong part, so Mike found, scoured the earth and found an original 1971 exhaust manifold, so that's getting restored.
Let me go get
it. Yeah, go get it.
So obviously we're on the left side of the chassis and this is the right-hand manifold. But as you can see here, correct numbers, right hand, nice, beautiful, beautiful manifold. It was lightly glass beaded and painted with a cast iron finish in a high temperature resolution paint. So this is an item that we identified that was a service replacement item, cast iron, maybe a cracked or just whatever happened over the course of the lifespan of this vehicle. And we looked for it as a team here and found what we needed and put a little bit more integrity back into this car. As I'm restoring this frame, I'm going through and making all kinds of NCRS correct markings, all the components on this chassis as they would have from the factory. So the yellow mark on the steering box, we have a blue mark and a check on the rear differential case. We have the correct stickers on the shock absorbers.
This is exactly how it would come from the factory. General Motors in 1971.
It is. And then stuff we did for assembly, like we used reproduction ends on this yoke. We have since found original ones. I will restore them as time goes on here. You probably can't see it, but your brake calipers are marked with inspection marks. And then all these machine surfaces here need a little bit of lacquer thinner and just wipe the paint off, but it's much more efficient to wipe that off and then clear them after they're painted than to sit there and fine line tape them.
It's just so neat to see something that you're not just taking, you're not just restoring for restoring's sake, you're actually bringing it back to a time in history when this was done. This is exactly what it would look like in 1971.
Right, and that's the true definition of a restoration. Anybody can go buy catalog parts and install them. We're trying to make this as correct as humanly possible while still maintaining some sort of efficiency on it. For example, brake lines. I'm not putting original brake lines on the car.
But it's the same type, it's the same bends and stuff.
Oh yeah. Everything is the same and exactly how it was, but we don't want to be loading this on a trailer or into an event and brake pedal goes to the floor.
So another thing I wanted to highlight also is the fact that these, at General Motors, the frames were painted upside down. So you see some of the markings and stuff like this marking here is upside down when the frame is right side up, but that's exactly how it was done. And as a matter of fact, you can even see, if this is painted exactly the same way, the drips from the paint would actually be running upwards because the frame was painted upside down at the factory.
And assembled to just prior to where we are now. So we don't assemble them that way because we don't have machinery to flip them and it's not an assembly line, but we do paint them upside down. We do assemble them for the most part in the same way. Like if you look in the back here on your trailing arms where the strut rods are, all the cotter pins are upside down to mimic the way they were assembled. So at this point in time, it would have just been flipped over, the engine and trans installed, and then the body would be coming down right after the front suspension's done. So this car is going back together as close to mimicking a factory production line would be. Here's some more markings like on your steering components here. You can see a white inspection mark.
Well, and as we saw, I mean, there were real people doing this.
Yeah.
We saw pencil marks on the body underneath the tank and stuff like that. Guys would initial their names and things.
Yeah. Or their employee ID numbers or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then when these are done, actually, I mean, what's it? The shims for the rear trailing arms, the number of shims, that's going to get marked on the arm as well once it's aligned. Is that correct?
You're thinking of the body mount shims for here.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, here and here. And then what we do is there's a yellowish white tape that the shim pack just get wrapped in, and we do mimic that as well. And sometimes correct restorations often look a little sloppy, but we're trying to make it as authentic as possible. They were pumping these cars out a couple hundred a day.
So I just want to thank Mike and everybody at County Corvette for taking care of our car and making the AstroVette, come back to the way she was originally.
Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Again, we got to make sure we get all the correct parts and find them, and hopefully next week at Hershey we'll be able to find some more stuff.
Yeah.
So it's
cool.
A big deal.
We'll take a look at the body next time we're here and see. Maybe we'll have a startup video or something in the next month or two.
Yeah, we're a front suspension away from putting the body back down, so sooner than later it'll be here. Yeah,
well, there's some stuff on the body we got to do first before we put it on.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier to get to the vacuum systems and some of the other
while
stuff.
The body's on a
While
J.
the body's on a J.
But as far as chassis work goes, we're a front suspension away from that segment done.
Yeah, just like get a little paint touch up over here.
Yeah.
But we'll
assembly.
All right. Thanks everybody. We'll keep you guys updated online, and again, follow AstroVette Endeavor. And thanks a lot.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you soon. The next time we're back at County Corvette finishing up AstroVette Endeavor. Stick around, stay tuned, follow us online, projectastrovette.com.